What's up, you guys? It's Danny, She Speaks, and I'm back with another video. So today I was gonna go through a few questions about year 5 and what year 5 was like, me being married for 5 years because my anniversary just passed. So I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to share with you guys some things I've learned within year 5. Let's hop right into it. The first question: finances. How did we handle finances within marriage? Mike and I have not so much of a traditional marriage, which is like, oh, the man works and the woman stays at home with the kid. We both kind of have income that we bring in. We put it all in one pot. We do have a shared account, but we also have our separate accounts, and we just kind of work it out. I let him handle the bills or whatever. I asked him, what does he need from me? What do I need to do? And then I kind of let him handle the bills. And then sometimes, I might have a little splurge and we have to have a conversation. But mostly we kind of work it out and we just talk through, the finances. Health. I think it's very important that when you get married, because you know how they say happy weight? It's important to understand bodies and... Excuse if you guys hear any noise, I'm getting my closet worked on right now. But anyways, so I wanted to talk about health because when you get into marriage or you get into a relationship, you kind of, if you're not taught how to take care of your body or how to take care of each other, you just eat whatever. And it's important to make sure that you're getting checkups and all that stuff. So in year 5, we got really serious about losing the weight that we got, the happy weight that we got while we were in this relationship, working out consistently, eating better, making better choices, and figuring out what works for his body, what works for mine. And again, we don't have a traditional relationship. So with that being said, just figuring out how the cooking was going to go and what we're going to do and just learning the balance of that. And it was hard because any woman who is a wife feels me when I say, unless you just really love cooking, when you have 1,000 things on your plate, thinking about a meal is the most frustrating thing. So it took me having to learn how to think ahead and schedule ahead because I'm so spontaneous and Mike is so structured. We would just be looking at each other when it came to dinner, and I'm like, and I would be frustrated because he's like, oh, what are we gonna eat? And not because that's my role, but it's just because that's what I'm good at doing. And it does kind of turn into a traditional thing, oh, the wife cooks, because that's kind of what I'm good at. Listening to your partner. I put that for year 5 because this year I really realized that it was some things that Mike told me in the beginning of our relationship that we needed to do, and I was like, no, we don't have to do all that. For instance, I'll give you an example. I'm the type of person that wake up 30 minutes before I have to be somewhere because I can be ready in 30 minutes. But that didn't work for him. He would want to be up at 3 hours before we went somewhere, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. But I learned as I got older in this 5th year of marriage and having a child within that 5th year of marriage, it was kind of okay, I have to change my ways. In the 5th year, I realized that there were some habits that we had adopted from each other that we had to learn how to. We adopted the bad habits that we have for each other, and we realized it wasn't good. So we had to just kind of sit down and say, hey, these are the habits that we've created. These are not the best habits, especially when it came to money, actually investing and saving money. A lot of that we didn't know about. We start changing our mind and thoughts around what we wanted to do, and knowing that we don't want to work for nobody, knowing that we want to be homeowners, knowing that we want to invest in things, knowing that we want to get into real estate. It was what can we do? What habits do we need to change? How we spend our money? Just coming to the realization of that and putting it into action. How can we move towards, okay, if someone does fire us, we have 6 months worth of income in the bank. We ain't got to worry about it. You have to be taught these things. You have to learn. And if you don't know that you have to learn those things, it may take some time to get to a place where you do learn those things. Creativity in marriage, that is very important. For me, I never wanted to, because of responsibilities and things that we have to do as a household, I never wanted that to interfere with Mike's creativity, because I also wanted to make sure that he's being fulfilled creatively outside of our marriage, because it's important for you to have your own outlets so that it's just not, your marriage is just not all you have, because then you'll end up unhappy, and then that can lead to other things. So in year 5, I definitely tried to push Mike more this year. He tried to push me more. The concentration and the work it takes to stay creative has been a lot within this year. But we've been able to bang it out. He's been more creative. I feel like he's written more songs within our relationship in year 5 than he's written in all of our relationships. So I'm really thankful for that. The pandemic did have a lot to do with that. When the pandemic hit, we were just like banging creative stuff out. Like that was our only outlet. And we've also created a lot of partnerships this year within creativity. So I'm excited about that because we need those partnerships so that we can actually be the creative family that we want to be and not have to work a regular 9 to 5. And that leads me to parenthood. Going into that, it switched up a whole dynamic, and I just really learned how to communicate more than I've ever communicated before. Things I felt like I shouldn't have to communicate, I had to grow up in those areas and realize, okay, even though you feel like you don't have to communicate, you clearly do have to communicate. And you have to say what it is that you need. Holding each other accountable to communicating and to following through with your word was very key in year 5 for us. Goals. Our goals for year 6, because we are in year 6 now, is to just be a lot more stable than we've ever been. Continue to grow the partnerships creatively and become solely and fully in our creative atmosphere where we don't have to go out and work other 9 to 5s, and we can sustain ourselves through our gifts and our talents. Our goal is to own a house. We're working towards that goal. We're working on our credit. Getting out of debt. Getting out of debt for the 6th year is definitely a goal of mine. We have to give our partners space to grow, and I feel like these last couple of years, Mike and I are really giving each other the space to grow into the things that we see for each other, because we can see the greatness on each other, but we have to allow each other to get to that place of greatness. And that has been key. And I'm going to end it with this one, which is describe year 5 in one word, and that's going to have to be grace for me. Why? Because God has been so graceful on us. He has been so patient with us. And he has showed us that he's with us, his grace, through his mercy. And I just appreciate it. And I look forward to year 6 with my best friend. But I'm also looking forward to having fun again. It was a lot of growth that took place in year 5. It was a lot of things that we had to do. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. It was just a lot of stuff we had to work through personally and together, that I think we lost an aspect of having fun in this year. That's why we took a trip to Atlanta, because we really needed to get out and we really needed to experience each other again and not just do bills and stuff like that. See you guys in my next video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Peace.